There's a construction project underway in southern China that almost no one outside the country is talking about. But it's not a new highway or a high-speed rail line or another skyscraper. It's a canal. That's right, a canal. And not just any canal. At over 130 kilometers long, this is the first major canal built anywhere in the world in over 1,000 years. And it could completely transform how goods move across Asia. China is pouring more than $10 billion into carving a massive waterway through rock and farmland, connecting its landlocked interior directly to the South China Sea. It's called the Pingluo Canal, and it might just be the boldest logistics project the world has seen since the Panama Canal. But what does it really do? Why now? And is it worth the cost? Let's break it down. To understand why China is going back to canals, we need to rewind more than 1,000 years. During the Sui and Tang dynasties, the Chinese Empire built one of the most ambitious infrastructure projects in history, the Grand Canal, stretching over 1,700 kilometers. It unified the country's north and south, feeding entire cities, armies, and trade networks. For centuries, it was the backbone of China's internal economy. But the canal era faded. As trains, trucks, and planes took over, China shifted its focus to roads and railways, and inland shipping gradually declined. So why bring canals back now? The answer lies in geography and money. China's coastal cities, like Shanghai, Shenzhen, and Guangzhou, are global manufacturing and shipping giants. But head inland to provinces like Chongqing, Sichuan, and Guizhou, and you'll find enormous factories, coal mines, and industrial zones sitting more than 1,000 kilometers from the nearest port. Moving goods from these regions to the coast is a slow, expensive process. Trucks and trains face steep fuel costs, congested corridors, and rising emissions. For bulk cargo like ore, cement, or grain, this is a serious bottleneck. That's where the Pingluo Canal comes in. It cuts a direct line from Hangzhou's Qin Reservoir to the Xinjiang River, which flows into the Beibu Gulf, a key gateway to Southeast Asia. This is part of China's land-sea trade corridor, a broader strategy to link its western interior with global markets. Without having to funnel everything through eastern megaports. The economics are simple. Transporting a ton of cargo by water costs about 1/5 of what it does by road. For factories and miners inland, that's a game changer. But digging a canal isn't as simple as drawing a line on a map. The Pingluo Canal is packed with engineering challenges. The route winds through rivers, farmland, rock formations, and urban areas. More than 13 million cubic meters of earth are being excavated. That's enough dirt to fill over 5,000 Olympic-sized swimming pools. The project includes over 90 bridges, long concrete viaducts, and 3 massive ship locks to handle elevation changes. The largest, Tiantang Lock, will be the biggest water-saving lock on Earth, capable of lifting 5,000-ton ships. To make it all work smoothly, the canal is being built with automated traffic control, integrated smart logistics, and real-time data tracking, turning what could have been a 19th century concept into a 21st century freight highway. Construction began in August 2023, and if the timeline holds, the canal will open in 2026. Once operational, it's expected to carry 95 million tons of cargo every year, about twice the early traffic levels of the Panama Canal. Let's be clear. Pingluo isn't trying to replace the Panama or Suez canals. It's not about global shortcuts, it's about internal efficiency. But that doesn't mean it's not strategic. For China, this canal plays a similar role to what the Panama Canal does for the U.S. It connects distant regions, cuts transport times, and anchors a national logistics network. It also reduces pressure on China's eastern seaboard ports, which are increasingly congested and vulnerable to geopolitical risks. The canal's economic impact goes far beyond saving on shipping costs. Along the route, new industrial parks and logistics hubs are already being planned. Cities like Nanning are positioning themselves as major inland trade centers. For provinces that were once isolated from global markets, this could be a turning point. It also has geopolitical weight. By connecting directly to the Beibu Gulf, the canal gives China faster, safer access to Southeast Asian markets, including Vietnam, Thailand, and Malaysia, without passing through the contested waters of the South China Sea or near Taiwan. It's a subtle but powerful way of reshaping trade flows and influence in the region. Still, a project of this scale doesn't come without consequences. To make way for the canal, thousands of people have been relocated. While China promises compensation and new housing, many residents have raised concerns about transparency, fairness, and cultural loss. Environmental impacts are also serious. The canal cuts through wetlands and farmland, drawing water from the Xin Reservoir, which could affect downstream ecosystems and agriculture. China has promised ecological corridors, silt traps, and real-time monitoring systems to mitigate damage, but those measures will be tested over time. There are also long-term questions. What happens if climate change reduces rainfall in the region? Can the canal stay functional during droughts or floods? And if inland industry slows, will this $10 billion investment become an underused waterway? The Pingluo Canal is more than a massive piece of infrastructure. It's a bet that inland China can become a new engine of global trade. A bet that canal transport still has a place in the age of high-speed logistics. And a bet that balancing economic growth with environmental and human impact is actually possible. If it succeeds, it could reshape how we think about shipping, trade, and infrastructure in the modern world. But that's a big if. So, what do you think? Should more countries invest in inland canals to support industry and reduce emissions? Or is the human and environmental cost too high? Drop your thoughts in the comments.